Father, would you hold my hand? The water's rising, I can't stand. Oh, I led myself to sinking sand. So Father, would you hold my hand?
Darren Mulligan wanted a career in rock music, but little did he know that God would use that passion to help spread the gospel around the globe. The We Are Messengers frontman shared his powerful testimony with me when they were in town for a concert at Christian Life Assembly. Fame and fortune is not the focus for the We Are Messengers frontman. Darren Mulligan told me he wants to see people won for Christ. I did sit down with him when the band was in town for a concert at Christian Life Assembly. Darren, thank you so much for being with us. We're here at Christian Life Assembly where you performed a concert. Talk to us about how you got involved with Christian music.
Yeah, I was never in my plan to be a Christian musician. I knew nothing of Jesus. I was an atheist. I was a drunk. I was an adulterer at the time that I got into, I guess, that journey. Essentially, my long-term girlfriend of 10 years fell in love with Jesus, had this radical transformation in her life, which ultimately led me to accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior a few weeks before we got married. And at the time, I was about 27. I'd been playing music in rock and roll bands all my life, playing guitar. But I sold all my instruments. I associated everything evil that I had done, you know, affairs and adultery and violence and drunkenness, with music. So I said, I'm going to go cold turkey. No more music for me. I'm out. I just want Jesus.
Take it all away.
And a couple of years later, they needed someone to play guitar in a youth group, little mission in our hometown in Ireland, Monaghan. I said yes. They needed someone to sing. They asked me. I was like, I've never sang, I can't sing. But they were stuck, so I said yes. Started singing. And for 3 years, my wife and I and my little brother and some friends traveled around Ireland telling people about Jesus. And fast forward, it was in 2014. I was sitting outside my oldest son's school. I was sitting in the car, and I remember praying out loud. I said, God, I don't need music anymore. I just want you. And the next day, Warner Brothers called, offered us a record deal, wanted us to move to America. I didn't want to go. God was very clear that we were to leave. So we packed 5 suitcases up. My mom and dad dropped us to the airport 10 years ago, almost to the day. And we landed in Nashville, Tennessee. Very afraid, lots of tears. And I went to work, started writing songs. And the first song we put out was a song called Everything Comes Alive, based on Ephesians 2.
In the morning when my heart is cold.
And it was a top 10 radio song. And from there we've had plenty of success, if you want to call it that. But our lives have just been this whirlwind of saying yes to Jesus, even when it's really, really hard. And it has been so joyful and so life-giving. This Jesus walk is brutal. It's beautiful. It's horrendous. It's joyful. It's suffering. But it's all so worthwhile, you know.
Talk about God answering your prayers. Oh my goodness. Talk to me about some of the topics in your songs.
Mental health's a big one. The idea that you don't have to be ashamed if you struggle with depression or suicidal ideation or cutting or any deep loneliness or any haunting of your mind in the dead of night, that you don't have to be ashamed. Jesus knows we hurt. We're humans, and the good news is he's fond of humans. So we write songs to remind people that that's okay, but it's not where your story ends. He's making all things work together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. You know, I mentioned it earlier, C.S. Lewis talks about it, that everything sad is being undone. We write songs for people that even in the sadness, to remind them, it's okay, hold on just a little bit longer. It's being undone.
Maybe it's okay.
Everything has been made right in Jesus. We're just waiting for time to catch up with the finished work of Christ.
How do you hope you're using the talent God has given you to make a difference?
I hope that when we leave venues, be it churches, theatres or arenas or whatever we're in, that the security staff and the caterers and the truck drivers and the volunteers talk well about us, that we were good news to them. It's easy to put on a front and be one thing on a stage, But the true measure of a performer is whether they're a better man off stage than they are on stage. And our team do such a good job at loving people well. And that's taken a lot of years to build that kind of culture. So I want people to remember that we didn't love music, we love people, and we love God.
Thank you so much, Darren, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to talk with us.
My pleasure, thank you, man.